breaking the fourth wall.
Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the Dirt Sheet Radio NXT Post-Show Rewind for June the 25th, 2024. I am Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves and let's hop right into tonight's main event.
Well, CJ Carter at CJ Carter 22. Now that I've actually unmuted my mic, and man, I love NXT, and I've got another great episode to talk about with you guys tonight.
You already know what it is. Malik Wilson, your future favorite sportscaster. Shout out to the New York Knicks. I hate you guys. You just made my week impossible. But glad to be here talking NXT. Shout out MLBBro.com. You already know what it is. Let's get into it, my boys. Great episode of NXT today.
Right on. Before we hop into the main event, I have to give a shout out to our partner online, comicbookclick.com, comicbookclick.com/dirtsheetradio for all of your pop culture, comic book, and professional wrestling needs. Live updates, lots of articles, lots of fun. Go check it out. Make it your homepage. Check it out multiple times a day, just like we do. Not because we're legally obligated to do so, but because we love to do it. And hey, while you're over there on comicbookclick.com, check out the newest sponsor we have with us, NordVPN. And you can get yourself 72% off your first month at NordVPN. Check that out at comicbookclick.com/dirtsheetradio. Gentlemen, let's talk about tonight's main event of the evening. We had Shawn Spears taking on NXT Trick Williams in a non-title match. This had some heavy implications coming out of it. A lot of outside the ring shenanigans. We had our weekly Brooks Jensen sighting here during all of this. Guys, what did you think of the main event? What this meant coming out of it? And the title match implications announced after the main event going into Heatwave in under 2 weeks. Guys, what did you think of this one tonight?
Start us off, Malik.
Oh, okay. You missed last week. You go ahead.
No, you've been away for a while. I'm still, people have heard me talk.
All right, that's cool. About the main event, I thought it was a pretty good match. Shawn Spears looked really good in the ring tonight. I don't know if that's something new. I've never been a huge Shawn Spears fan, but he was really good in the ring tonight. The outcome of the match, though, was something that we kind of predicted last week with all the mayhem that we saw. Mm-hmm. The run-ins, though, did kind of remind me of the WWE is starting to tap into their WCW bag a little bit. It seems like every show at the end of the main event is like a run-in. But overall, it seems like everything that we predicted last week has come into fruition. WWE, you need to kind of cut that check. We starting to give y'all ideas. I'm starting to notice some things. But other than that, man, I thought it was a pretty good main event.
Yeah, I had very similar thoughts. It was a great match. Again, kind of thinking along the lines of to get Shawn Spears involved in this match, yeah, he's going to have to beat the champ. The one thing that I wish that they hadn't done was announce the Fatal 4-Way, because I figured they still had a week for them to be able to still find a way to also add Lexis King into this match. Reason why I want Lexis King, of course, you remember that promo from a few weeks ago where Cody Rhodes said, you guys are in a good place. Mm-hmm. I wish this would have come to something positive for all three of them. Right now he's the odd man out by not being in this match. Mm-hmm. So if there is a way, even if you put Shawn Spears and Ethan Page and Lexis King into a triple threat match, have Lexis King get the win, and then he can come into it on the grounds of, well, you guys got into this match by beating the champion and the contender. I get into this match because I beat the both of you. Something like that. And there is still time before Heatwave if they can figure out a way to get him in there to make it a 5-way. Otherwise, what are you doing with Lexis King? Like, I don't even think he was on the show.
No, he was not. He did not have a iota of airtime this evening. Oh, hello, Ziggy. Ziggy had more airtime than Lexus King did this evening.
Wow.
And that was a odd thing. I didn't actually pick up on that until you just said it, that he was not present this evening.
And I didn't think of it until just now, because I was like, you have to do something with him or just let him go. Like, I'm at that point with Lexus King where he hasn't done much of substance to even justify his cool entrance and persona. Like, if they were going to invest that level of star power, I don't know if that's the right term, but if they were willing to inject his character with that much charisma, then not use him, that's on Pillman.
It has been a while, and we have kind of we've continually pushed back the date of expectation of when they would start to really rev up something for him. Because before I was like, okay, well, it's going to be sometime after Royal Rumble, and it's like, okay, well, you know what? Clearly, they're holding off till after Stand and Deliver in Mania. They're holding off till that, and now here we are, approaching SummerSlam in a month and a half, and he's still kind of in that same position.
Mm-hmm.
And that really is unfortunate, because I think that he's done a lot better performance-wise in the NXT environment than he did in AEW. I think not having to be Brian Pillman Jr. Has aided him more than it's hurt him. It's kind of given him an opportunity to step out from underneath, his father and kind of become his own character. But that being said, they do need to do a little more with him than they're doing. I just don't know what you do with him right now. I really don't know, because I don't see him in the North American title picture necessarily. Like right now, that's very, very congested, as is the NXT World Title picture right now. I mean, you could find someone to team up with him, and kind of toss him into the tag division, which might not be a terrible idea to kind of give him someone to play off of week in and week out. I mean, hell, it worked for guys like Baron Corbin, but I don't know. Short of something like that, I don't even see a clear-cut path for him at this moment.
And the only thing with Baron Corbin, though, is that they put him with Braun Breaker, and we see what Braun Breaker's doing on Raw right now. So you kind of put Baron Corbin alongside with somebody that you had a rocket jetpack attached to.
That's fair.
So it's kind of like a different situation to kind of just put Lexus King in that type of scenario with another tag team partner. I do think that's a great idea. I was actually watching the tag team turmoil match that we'll get into in a little bit, and I was thinking, God, man, I miss days of like old tag teams, like sustainable tag teams, like Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian. You know what I'm saying? Like, I miss days like that. Feel like those days are starting to dwindle down a little bit. But CJ, I know you was gonna bring him up because you Cody Rhodes supporter. I don't know if you heard my Homelander take last week. I don't know if you.
I didn't. I'll have to make sure to go back and watch it.
You might want to go back and watch that, because if they put Lexus King in this match, my prediction would have been 100% correct. So I'm actually here for it, but yeah.
But gentlemen, anything else on the main event of this evening, or the announced Fatal 4-Way going into Heatwave before we hop around to the start of the show?
Nothing to add. No.
All right. So hopping around to the start of the show, as typical for NXT, the show coming to us live tonight from the WWE Performance Center down in Florida. The show opened with the tag team turmoil match. Actually, I got ahead of myself. It actually opened with Ava out front talking to a bunch of local referees and security, stating that things have been crazy lately. People have been barging into the building from all sorts of other companies, and to be on their toes. That, I think, set up a little more than it needed to, because there wasn't really a lot of payoff to that setup. That's probably why I forgot that it happened at the start of the show. Because with that being said, I was expecting more folks from TNA running in. Obviously, some Brooks Jensen appearance there, but we didn't really get much of any of that other than that Jensen appearance in the main event of the show tonight, which they didn't even say him by name during that, did they?
No. Well, and I think it's still because he's not, like, he's no longer with the company. But I actually forgot to bring that up while we were talking about the main event. Brooks Jensen being able to do as much as he did with this added security is hilarious. Like, he still managed to get, like, enough of a distraction to take Trick Williams off his game, but then he managed to get back to the announce table to rip the cover off and hit Trick Williams with it. How incompetent is the security at the Performance Center?
Well,
Like,
I mean, we've seen how dangerous the parking lot is, so it's not a safe working environment. Really not.
That's why they couldn't get Brooks Jensen out of the ringside area fast enough, because they were so focused on protecting the parking lot.
Yeah, they need to call in the National Guard at this point to start hanging out at the Performance Center. It's getting dangerous out there.
It's a crisis.
It really is. It
That's
really
gonna
is.
be my point about the security. You had all that security there. You warned them before the show. They control nothing. Fired everybody.
Oh yeah.
And start fresh, guys, next week. Like, there's got to be a temp agency that gets some people out to you. And again, I understand that it's trying to be like a younger, hipper thing, but damn it, Ava, you are a general manager showing up in your finest Steve Austin t-shirt. Like, come on. Just something. Like, anyway, all right.
It's not even a fact that it's a Steve Austin t-shirt. It's a fucking 316 day t-shirt. We're in June. Have some respect for yourself. What do you wear your Wednesday underwear on fucking Friday too? We are in June.
Slander all she want. Ava look good tonight. I'll put that in the 3T chat.
No argument there.
She's been wearing the shirt for 3 months, bro.
She looked good for 3 months. Then if that's what she was.
Catch her in December. She'll wear
got my eye tonight.
19 day.
Oh god. All right. Let's hop into tonight's opening match. We have the tag team turmoil match to determine the #1 contender for the NXT Tag Team Championship at Heatwave in Toronto. As it says there, guys, hopping ahead here just for a second, Chase U is going international. They did end up picking up the win here in 16 minutes and 58 seconds total match time. Tag team turmoil match is sort of a gauntlet situation here. But we started with Idris Inoue and Malik Blade taking on the New Catch Republic. New Catch Republic took the win from them at 2 minutes and 43 seconds. That brought out Angel and Humberto. Again, New Catch Republic beat them at the 6:11 mark. This then brought out the OC, the Good Brothers, Bullet Club. They've got 1,000 names. Gallows and Anderson. Gallows and Anderson were defeated at the 11:44 mark. OTM came out and mocked them, which led to a brawl between OTM, Jada Parker, and Mi Chen. And then came out Chase U to a very exhausted New Catch Republic at this point. And then, as I said, Chase U picks up the win at the 16:58 mark. After a little bit of outside the ring chicanery via Ridge Holland against his former teammate, Pete Dunne. Guys, what do you think of this opening match? That was a mouthful to get through all that. Tag team turmoil, guys. It's one of the reasons why I don't like tag team turmoil. It's too much to fucking say all at once. But Chase U, going to Toronto, probably winning those tag team titles. That's what I'm thinking. But guys, what do you think of the opening match tonight? The winners of the opening match, how they got there. Hit me with what you're feeling, fellas.
Oh, I got a lot to say, so I'll just stick with the match itself, though. I thought this was a good match. I thought it was a great showcase for everyone to just kind of get their spots in. I don't know how I feel about a lot of the teams that were necessarily in this match. I think there were definitely better options in the locker room, but I think the thing that sticks out to me the most about this match and the winners is that it was Andre Chase and Duke Hudson. Because of Ridge's interference, is there still a possibility of fractures within Chase U because it was Ridge interfering in Andre and Duke's match, but not necessarily Riley Osborne? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think we're still kind of leaning that direction. Is Andre aware of Ridge's interference? Because I thought that Duke was the only one that was actually officially on screen aware of Ridge helping.
Well, wasn't that it was Chase that Ridge pushed out of the way, wasn't it?
Well, pushing someone out of the way and leveraging a pin are two different things.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as his interference goes, that's all he did was he took a bullet for Andre Chase.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So yeah, no, that makes sense. And yeah, we'll talk about Duke Hudson's knowledge of his interference a little bit later in the show too.
I wanted to ask you guys a serious question here. What did you think Thea Hale meant when she posted this on Instagram?
Thank you.
That Chase U is going international. That's the worldwide symbol for I'm heading to Toronto, right, TJ? Right? That means I'm going to Toronto. That's what that means.
Was posted during NXT, so it's got to be canon content to the program. I just want to know what it means.
You just wanted to post Thea Hale's canon content on this show, didn't you?
She provided us with content to discuss during NXT, and I thought we should discuss it.
That pick was for the freaky ass blank. He's a 69 god. That's
She
what
posted it right on the feed, okay? It's on the main feed.
That pick was for.
Well,
Sexy Red opened a lot of doors for NXT.
As she should have.
Oh, hell yeah.
She should have.
What were we talking about?
That was Tag Team Turmoil. Team Turmoil. Chase U going international. Do you see Chase U picking up the tag titles at Heatwave in Toronto?
I hope to God not. I really do. I'm tired of Chase U. I've been tired of Chase U. The only thing I like about Chase U is Thea Hale at this point. Ridge, you have one job, Ridge. Burn this university to the ground. That's all I want you to do. That's all I want you to do, Ridge. You're forgiven for injuring whoever as long as you end this and take Thea Hale with you. That's all I care about. That's it. Good match. Feel bad for the Good Brothers, by the way. They keep getting chopped out. Feel really bad for them. They just need to go back to New Japan or whatever. Go find AJ, see what he's up to, whatever. Do something. My big question for you guys, though, because I just started watching NXT again. What the hell was Apollo Crews doing here?
That I don't. He's that was a follow up one. Is he screwing around with something?
Yeah,
on
he got
SmackDown?
attacked
Was
by
that-
Legato backstage on SmackDown a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
So that's more of a
okay.
SmackDown issue than an NXT. That is one thing to say about this the Turmoil match. We had two teams that were NXT roster tag teams in the match,
Yeah.
and that seems kind of unnecessary. Again, talking about find a tag partner for Lexus King. Don't know who the hell it would be, but there's a slot. You could have had him slot in tonight. But yeah, that is kind of I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Them, continually pulling, main roster talent to NXT.
I think it's emblematic of a problem that NXT has. It's the allure of being a big fish in a small pond. I think that the reason a lot of the talent that we see coming down from SmackDown or Raw to NXT is because, one, they need a career rejuvenation, or two, they just want to do something. So immediately, the fact that they're coming down to NXT is a big deal. It doesn't matter who it is. Every NXT alumni or main roster star that comes down, the whole performance center is like, oh my God, every single time. So I think the fact that you have these main roster stars kind of taking these spots on the roster is a problem that I called months ago when we started seeing this happening. And now it's essentially NXT is a third brand because of how often main roster stars are taking up airtime. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm very excited for what the Good Brothers and OTM have in store, but I don't want to see main roster teams come down just to take up airtime from NXT level talent.
Man, I agree. I think just listening to CJ talk, the first thing that came to my mind was, okay, they're a third brand. So I think it's a third brand thing. Like, they're trying to get away from NXT being developmental. Like, they're trying to get away from that saying, like, nah, NXT is a third show for WWE now. So that's why you kind of have these main roster guys come down to kind of like establish that, like, hey, this isn't just developmental. We do have main stars that do come down and show up on this show, which I do feel is in detriment to the talent that you have in NXT that you can use this TV time to develop. But I get why they do it. I really do. I just felt bad because who was the team that was backstage that challenged New Catch Republic? I was like, hey, we weren't in the tag team turmoil. I was like kind of sarcastic about it. Like, we kind of should have been in that spot. You know what I'm saying? So in situations like this, where you could avoid having the main talent come down, even if they're just going to just get the TV time and they're not going to win the match, that's fine. At least let them showcase their ability, and then we see where we go from there.
Yeah, Hank and Tank, Tyson and Tyreek. Like, you know, and I'm sorry, and I misspoke. 3 of the 5 teams in this tag team turmoil match were main roster teams. 3 of the 5. Like, that's not good. That's you know, is, you know, I love NXT, love it. It's I say this every week. It's my favorite show, you know, that I watch every week of wrestling. We watch a lot of wrestling, guys, and that's bad though. Like 3 out of 5, you know, that's too much. That's too much, guys. You've got teams down there that you could be using in this situation. And it's like you're saying, I mean, like it doesn't matter if they lose. Like, it's okay if you lose. You guys are rookie teams. That's all right. It's about the airtime and you visually seeing as a fan. It's like, okay, they're putting in the effort. They're improving week after week. Yeah, they're losing, but they're getting better every week. And eventually, you know, they'll make it to the main roster. It's just like, you're not getting to see that natural growth that way when you're continually bringing main roster talent. Right. And, you know, when main roster talent comes down and continually loses in NXT, it doesn't make them look good either. Like, this seems to really be benefiting no one.
Right. Like, you could have took Angel and Humberto out. And you could have put OTM in there. Mm-hmm. And then just have the Good Brothers probably cost them the match or something. And it leads you right into your next match. It would have flowed perfectly. Like, you have the teams there to continue the angles. So, I don't know. Maybe, hopefully that's something they improve upon in the future.
And they just came out at the point of the match anyways. So right. At least if they were competitors, it would have felt like it had a more logical flow instead of just, oh, we're also going to appear now.
Right. Agreed. But hey, we'll see what they do next week, of course, with this, because it's, you know, listen, we've got one more. Next week's the go home show, guys. So we've got little more driving to do before we hit to our destination. But moving from tag team turmoil to the backstage, we had our seemingly weekly Hickenbottom High women's locker room segment back there to set up a match. We had Carbon Petrovic run afoul of Roxanne Perez when she was watching footage from last weekend, you know, kind of making light of things. And this set up for later tonight, we would have Roxanne Perez and Carbon Petrovic. Guys, anything on this segment?
you explained it perfectly.
It's a nice locker room. They've got a lovely locker room. It's one of the more well lit areas of NXT. There's some poorly lit backstage areas there, but that's one of the best lit places they have.
They want to keep the locker room safe.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, right. Wait, maybe they should move some of those lights out to the parking lot. I don't know. But
but then that would endanger the locker room.
That's true. It's God, you can't win down here, guys.
No, you really can't. It's either coming or going at the Performance Center.
No. But moving on from there, we had a graphic in memory of Sika, who passed away this afternoon, I believe, is when news of that broke. So obviously, everyone's sending out their condolences to the family, and very, very sad. Yeah. So as that was, I think, a startling piece of information coming out of today. And again, like we said, everyone obviously sending condolences and well wishes to the family. But on to less sad things. We had Dante Chen backstage with Nathan Fraser, and Fraser said that he hadn't heard from Axiom for a few days up until this point. And Dante was saying, "Hey, if you need me, I'll be out there to help you out." The quarter catch crew. God, I'm getting ahead of myself. The family, it's a lot of guys out there, but Axiom rolls in and says that he will be there with his friend, and they seem to patch things up here pretty heartily. Guys, what do you think of this segment here and the relationship between Axiom and Nathan Fraser, and Dante Chen kind of interjecting himself here, even saying after everything seemed okay that he'd be there if you need him, just let him know.
Yeah, like it's we'll talk about the Heritage Cup match in a bit, but I'm glad that they're still keeping the bond strong between the tag champs. We'll talk about what I think of their future going into Heatwave, but yeah, straight up segment as far as this goes.
I like them as a team a lot too. I think they're a really fun team.
For sure.
Fun team, but it's about to be over.
Oh, don't break my heart, man.
I'm saying that your heart was broken last week with the hate that was spewing off of Axiom. I'm sorry. And you didn't hear from him? I didn't hear from you for a few days. This is where we at? Because I gotta.
Yeah, but he still came through for him in the end.
You believe that? All the stuff.
Yeah, I do.
You believe that?
Yeah, I do. The proof is in.
That's what you believe, CJ?
Yeah, because that's exactly what happened. You were watching the same show I was.
Yeah, I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. Here's the thing. I think Nathan versus Axiom would be an amazing rivalry because they're the only people who is as fast as each other. So it'll be an amazing match, first off. But once you show me that hate, like we saw Trick with Trauma later on in the show that we'll talk about backstage. Like we've seen that. So hey, Nathan Fraser, you need to take notes. This happened on your doorstep. It's about to happen on your doorstep. Trust me.
All right, well,
I missed you.
I'm the heel guy. What do you want me to do? Like, I know what's happening here.
It's all good.
It's just right now. It's just the angel and devil on the shoulder there, guys. Just like, I don't know.
Look at Dante Chen. Does he trust him? No. Dante Chen knows what's up. He knows what's going on here.
Dante Chen trusts no man in a mask. I think that's what's going on here. I think that's the issue. Face paint, yes. Dante Chen can get behind some face paint, but not so much a mask. Not so much a mask. But so back into the live arena, Ethan Page made his way to the ring to call out General Manager Ava, demanding that he be placed in the main event of Heatwave. And Ava came out to some god-awful entrance music. Like, truly, truly bad.
Pretty bad.
But, it's the sad state of affairs of entrance themes in this company at the moment. But she came out and actually said that he had a fairly good point and that he was not eliminated from the match and that he did beat Javon Evans last week. And as we're talking, this of course brought out Shawn Spears. Guys, we talked about the main event title picture at Heatwave at the end of the show coming out of the main event tonight. But what did you think of this promo? How it set things up? How all the men sounded as Trick came out there before the brawl, of course. But guys, what'd you think of everyone's mic skills in this particular scenario?
Yeah, that started off the last one. Malik, you take this one.
I had one critic. It's just, this is one of them Ava GM things where it kind of showed up to me tonight, where it was just like, yo, Ethan Page is talking wild trash to you, like telling you what you should do. If I were you, Ava, if I were you, my advice would be to go back and watch Stephanie McMahon GM tapes and have that type of attitude when things like that in the ring happen. First of all, Ethan Page, isn't he from like TNA or something like that? Why is he telling you what to do? Like, what do you mean? You don't just do whatever you want. Tell me what to do on my show. Like, that's not happening. Other than that, I thought it was a pretty good segment. I mean, it's set up for what was going to happen later on in the show, so it got the point across.
I think as far as Ethan Page goes, like, he's proving that he is still one of the best people that NXT has who can cut a promo, hands down. And unfortunately, as much progress as Ava has made, when she's in the same segment with someone like Ethan Page that has so much better delivery on the mic, it definitely doesn't come across like she's still improved or hasn't slid back.
Right.
But I mean, that is she's still growing as a presenter, so I think that's definitely something she may be able to continue to grow as she's the GM in NXT. But yeah, definitely I think as far as setting up for the rest of the night, like setting that up as the main event, it made sense that they highlighted how much Ethan Page should be in this match. So for them to give Shawn Spears that same opportunity, yeah, it did kind of be like, okay, well, yeah, he'll pin the champ, and that's how he'll get his name thrown in the ring. So I see the summit next week being very interesting, to say the least, especially if they do decide to incorporate Lexus King after all.
Yeah. All right. So moving from the interview segment and brawl that ensued after, backstage we had the New Catch Republic catch up to Rich Holland and angrily get in his face, asking what the hell that was. And this is when we had the aforementioned Hank and Tank appearance as well, challenging the New Catch Republic to a match. I was glad that they addressed here the issue between Rich and Pete. Is this the first time they've been on screen since the split?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. I was going to ask you guys that actually.
Because they just didn't even have so much as like a breakup of the Brawlin' Brutes. They just kind of, they just stopped teaming together. And so then when they started making Butch Pete Dunne again, and they like it felt like they were just done, like, no pun intended. So yeah, I think this is the first time that they've been on screen together.
Yeah, apparently they had some conversation about the split though. Because Pete Dunne said, "You told me that you wanted to do things yourself, and now you're with Chase U. So what's that all about?" So apparently there was some sort of understanding that they were just going to go in separate ways, and he was going to do his own thing. And apparently he didn't hold true to that. So it's interesting to see where they go from here. Do y'all think this starts a rivalry in between Pete and him, or is it just like a one-off thing?
Well, there's potential for sure. Like,
Yeah.
they definitely teased it, but I don't think anything's gonna come of it unless Chase U wins at Heatwave.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth mentioning. I mean, Rich Holland is a very untrustworthy person. So I mean, I'm not shocked that he would have lied to someone he was so closely associated with for so long. He's a liar and a bad influence on impressionable youths such as Thea Hale. So that's where I'm at on it. But saying she reminds him of his daughter, it's fucking weird, Rich. Now, granted, they haven't said that in 3 weeks. I'm the only one that keeps bringing that up. And it was fucking weird when he said it, and it's weird now. Ugh, don't care for it. But
He misspoke, Tyler.
I don't think he did, because he said it more than once. With his accent. Which I don't even think it's a real accent. I think he's faking that, too.
Ridge, I'm trying. Hey, you'll break this Chase U up thing, and I'll defend you every week, dude.
Oh, man. But
I'll be the moderator because I'm kind of neutral on Rich Holland now. So if you need me to be the unbiased third voice, I can be the tiebreaker.
Appreciate that.
Fair enough. But staying backstage, we had Stevie Turner and Robert Stone. Apparently now we're entering into some sort of angle where they are both vying for the favor of Ava.
Why?
It's something. It's something for both of them to do. It's not wrestling.
Exactly. Like, I thought Stevie was a wrestler. Are they changing her role into an on-screen personality now? Or
look, man, they threw her in there with Jordan Grace, and she was like, "Nah, fuck this. I'm not doing this ever again."
That is also a very valid reaction. But who knows? I think they have. I think they have to figure out what they're doing and who they're doing it with. No double entendres there, but I think as far as Stevie Turner is concerned, yeah, just figure out if she's a wrestler or if this is going to be an on-screen talent, just solely on screen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, but that'll take us to our next in-ring match. We had Wes Lee taking on Joe Coffey, with the winner facing Obafemi at Heatwave in Toronto. Wes Lee quickly picks up the victory here in 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Maybe that's why Ava was wearing the shirt. And he will be moving on to face Oba at the upcoming PLE. And if he loses, he will not receive another North American title shot as long as Femi holds the title. Gentlemen, what did you think of Wes's match this evening with Joe Coffey and the stipulation with Oba going into Heatwave?
Let me be perfectly honest. I didn't really like the match that much. There's a lot of botches on Joe's part. It seemed like a really sloppy match. I wish they would have kind of put somebody in there that Wes kind of had a little bit of chemistry with leading up to his NXT North American Championship match at Heatwave, because last week I was kind of off the Wes Lee thing anyway. So this week didn't really make it any better for me. Him having that type of match, I was expecting Wes Lee to like fully show out his arsenal. Show me that you deserve this championship match again. I didn't get that this week. So, like you said, we still have time. There's a go home show next week. I don't know if you put him in there again, because Obafemi's a monster. Who in their right mind would have a match that week before your title match against Obafemi? So that would look a little weird if they did that to try to showcase him. But overall, I didn't think it was a great match at all, actually.
No, that's fair. I also thought this wasn't a great showcase. Like, they both kind of deserved either more time or something different. But I mean, I think if the plan is for Wesley to lose, then hopefully he gets on to something that's more beneficial. Like, he did wonders for the North American title. If they decide they want him to face off against Trick Williams, or if they want to incorporate him into TNA crossover stuff, then hopefully we get the ball rolling on that, because he is still one of my favorite talents in this 2.0 era. And just the fact that he's back so soon after what we thought was a super serious injury. I want to just see more of Wes Lee, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, we thought that was a potentially career-ending injury. They were saying, a year at least there at first, and he came back so quickly. And maybe that's kind of why he does seem to be spinning his wheels a little bit. Maybe they just, from a story perspective, we're not expecting him back so quickly. And since he was ready to come back, they probably felt the need to reintegrate him into the story and the title picture immediately, and that might be working to the detriment here a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense, but they could do a little bit more for him, because you got to remember, last week he was supposed to have this great promo with Obafemi. You got the Brooks Jensen thing that took away from that.
Oh God, yeah.
And then so they're not doing Wes Lee any favors here,
yeah,
because now you put him in the ring with Joe Coffey. I'm not saying Joe Coffey's a bad wrestler, but it was a bad match, and you're supposed to be building him up for the Heatwave next Sunday. So next week, NXT, figure out something for Wes Lee. He deserves a little bit better than what you're doing with him right now.
Yeah,
like, it felt like they were leading to something between Wes Lee and Gallus. Like, that was the sense that I got. So for him to actually win the number one contendership is more surprising to me than that. Maybe this is just like a stopgap blip in the road to, until they actually do something more with Gallus. But I just hope it's something substantial.
Agreed. But moving backstage, we had Sarah Schreiber talking with the family ahead of Tony D'Angelo's Heritage Cup title defense here coming up just after this. But then, do this quick promo, just hyping up that. But I will say this: Tony's good on the mic. Like, he is very, very different now than he was when we started doing the NXT post show rewinds. Like, he's grown a lot as a performer, and I think they've found a way to kind of make the mobster gimmick work in a way that it could potentially function on the main roster. Maybe. I still kind of don't think it would in the long run, but he's coming across a lot less cartoony and a lot more serious, which I think is a good direction for him.
Yeah, sounds like I'm watching Godfathers when I was watching him today. Like, it sounds legit. He sounds like a mob boss to me. I think he's doing an amazing job on the mic.
Me too. I think that, like you said, there is definitely a way for them to survive on the main roster once they get there and not feel like they're regressing back to a cartoonish mobster stereotype. So I think...
Go ahead,
what's that?
CJ, my bad. Go ahead.
No, that was pretty much the end of my point.
Well, if you know how my bosses roll, you know how my families roll, there's only so much you can kind of do on NXT in this PG era. But with the news that came out, apparently, I don't know if it's true. I saw it on a few, if WWE is bringing this Attitude Era back thing for Netflix and they making new edgier content, Tony D'Angelo fits right in with that.
Yeah.
So there is hope for him in the main roster being his mob boss. I see it. I see the vision. Yeah, I just thought about that. Yeah.
And we only have, another 6 months until they move to Netflix. So let's see. We'll see what happens in January.
You just did have the Y6 kill everybody. So
and they ain't even switched networks yet.
No. That's a really good point. And and with them, they've expanded the family over the last few months. They're not taking away from them. They're not winding them down. They've been amping them up and putting more steam behind them. And I think everybody involved in the family is coming across very good in their roles. I'll say this as we get into the match too, a little bit about Luca, but I think Luca Crucifino out of that men's breakout tournament, he's looking great. Like, he has been one of the best characters to come out of that.
Oh, for sure. Like, he just, it felt like such a natural fit for him to fall in with the family. So I'm glad that he's working well together. I wish that they would, there's another team for the gauntlet that would have worked better, Crucifino and Stax.
Yep.
Like, there was no reason for the El Legado del Fantasma guys to be in there. Like, anyways, just something to gripe about, because I was gonna say I think that those guys deserve a chance to get some TV time in the tag team division as well.
Agreed.
It's got to be hard to balance making a TV show on NXT, something watchable, and actually giving opportunities to the kids who need them. I understand what you're saying, but the entire time I kept thinking, you replace these veterans with the NXT guys and you will have the worst fucking match that you have seen in a long time. Not only that, it's a tag team turmoil match, so it's not even like a regular structure. So now you got a whole bunch of blind chickens leading each other around and fucking up a television production. You kind of need some of these vets in there for sure, just for that, like beyond the third brand conversation or anything like that, just to lead these little blind mice, because they're all babies.
And that opening, the tag team turmoil match could have been structured in a very similar way. You still could have used, one team. You still could have used the New Catch Republic in this scenario, but then just use one out of the 5 teams, and you have them run the gauntlet until the end, like they did. And then, you still have Chase, you beat them. And then, because then they could have been, because John, that's a great point. Like, you do see that in NXT a lot, like with the Women's North American title ladder match, you had Michin in there. And I think that was Michin's role, was to be that veteran voice to kind of, keep everything going, keep everything moving the direction it needs to. If something goes wrong, she could be there to kind of, pick up those pieces, because that's a learned experience thing. You fuck up something live, you have to keep plodding forward, and it's live. You can't stop and go back. And that's a very good point. But they could have still structured it differently, though. Just the one team instead of 3 out of 5.
I agree with that. Now, I guess I'd say, which team would you have liked to see get I guess that kind of time tonight?
Yeah, go ahead, because I said OTM earlier. Like, OTM would have fit perfect if you would have took
for that long.
Out. No. New Catch Republic could have still been in there.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you were going to replace New Catch Republic's time in ring time with like a newer NXT team.
Yeah, Luca and Stax.
Yeah.
I see. I would not give my show to you, gentlemen.
No, I mean, I'd probably, if like I said, my issue with the number of vet teams in that was the number of vet teams in that. Yeah. I still like the idea of having New Catch Republic run the gauntlet the way they did.
I wouldn't replace them like that. That was a tough question, John, by the way, because we wouldn't replace them. We're not talking.
No, exactly. Like, they're locked in.
Yeah. I would have pulled out, the OC, you replace them with OTM, have them fuck it up for OTM, and then you can, go that direction with that.
OC's funny because they suck too, but they don't have an excuse.
Right? They're journeyman wrestlers. They have been around the world multiple times. I remember the first time I ever saw Carl Anderson wrestle was live in the Jesus Christ, Hammerstein Ballroom in New York. Like, I'd never seen him work a match ever, and that was the first time. And he was phenomenal. I don't know what's happened.
time, maybe
I
ego.
was about
don't
to
know.
ask you. Think they're just old now? Because that's what I get when I see them in the ring. Like, it
Yeah.
just kind of seems like
Owning an end, maybe a little bit. It's kind of
Maybe.
like, I'm going to cash my check and... No offense, Carl. I don't want to fight you, man. No offense, Carl Anderson. But fuck you, Braun Strowman, you cartoon and running motherfucker.
wow.
It's not even the Raw show. It's not even the Raw show, and I
Yeah.
want to call him out for how badly he runs.
The fights you start don't end once the stream ends. That shit carries all week long, and we
That's
got
right.
a lot of shows in the
That's
week.
right. If
Long-term
I have one thing
storytelling,
in
I'm with
common
it.
with The Rock, that's my one thing in common with The Rock, is just because the show's over doesn't mean it stops. You should
Yeah,
cry,
okay.
Braun, because you can't run. I gotta get my heart rate back down now,
Which
guys.
is hilarious.
Well, here,
His
while
best
while
move is
you're
running
getting
around
your
the ring.
heart rate down, I'll say that if you happen to not be able to catch us when we're live, check us out on Delphin Pod. Our shows are available everywhere their podcasts are found, and we can. If you want DSR merch, that's on our Shopify store. And we've got the Major Issue Show every single Thursday. I can't remember what we were talking about. The subject was going to be this week, John.
I also don't remember because it got changed. It was supposed to be something and something else now, and I fucking forgot. I smoked too much
Oh.
weed.
I want to plug. I want to carry my own weight. I want to contribute. We'll talk.
There, yeah, I'll fill you in.
But back to the backstage there, we had Rich Holland and Duke Hudson celebrating their win from tonight, and a stagehand approached Hudson and gave him a manila envelope, because here at NXT we love to give people mystery items in manila envelopes, and before they could open it, the rest of Chase U showed up. Guys, what do you think's in the envelope?
Didn't they say it was something about his match?
Is it like
Yeah,
picture
it
or
was
something from last week?
pictures from last week's match.
No.
And Rich Holland took the envelope and never actually gave it back to Duke. Even after the rest of
didn't catch
Chase
that.
U left, I don't think I remember him handing them over. Feel free to correct me,
No,
but
I get the drama and I get behind the drama, but like, you know, if he wants pictures of his match, he understands that like Peacock exists, right? And that he can just go on there and like watch it in demand, whatever he wants, for just $9.99 a month. Like he's
works,
aware of this.
Yeah, and I mean that's a registration that wouldn't even cost him money because his employer runs the network. Like that's it.
Yeah.
So-
So I don't know why he needed pictures, but hey, here we are.
You won the match, dude. Like, this is my issue with Chase U. Like, bro, you won. Like, what do you need evidence for? For what? You won the match. Like, come on, man. Like, this is my issue.
You need that game day footage that you can review to get better. That's all it is.
Let me
Yeah.
get this footage to prove that he's cheating, so when we get rid of him, we become jobbers again. Nice job.
That's why he didn't give him back the photos.
Yeah. See, you might not. Rich might not actually be a bad guy, Tyler.
Maybe he's playing like, you know, 8-dimensional chess, and I just don't know how to keep up.
Yeah, see, it's possible.
I had some extra dimensions there. But back to the in-ring tonight. We had the Don of NXT, Tony D'Angelo, Heritage Cup champion, defending against Nathan Fraser. Guys, this was one hell of a Heritage Cup match. As I said earlier, like I feel like they're trying to make Tony D'Angelo a lot more serious as a wrestler and performer, and this match really illustrated that. They went the full 6 rounds tonight, and Tony D'Angelo was able to retain the Heritage Cup, and I think the aggregate time of the rounds was just around 12 minutes, 2 falls to 1, getting that last fall in the 6th round. Guys, what'd you think of this Heritage Cup match? And again, you know, how they're kind of positioning Tony D'Angelo as a more serious competitor.
Take it away, CJ. I actually missed
Yeah,
it.
this was a great match. I love the Heritage Cup format. It works really well for NXT, and I think this has been doing a lot for Tony D'Angelo. I mean, we even thought he might have gone in the draft this past year. Like, he's ready to go. Is the rest of the family also ready to go, or is it like when Legato got called up the first time and left Elektra Lopez behind? Like, if that's what happens, would it be Tony getting called up without the family?
I firstly, I don't think the rest of the family is ready for the main roster. So I would hope that they wouldn't call him up without them. I don't think his gimmick or his act really functions without the rest of them. They are definitely a collective unit. They would have to be moved together, but I don't think they're ready. I mean, hell, Luca's only been in NXT for what, 5 months?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah,
we've been doing the show longer than he's been around.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not pushing back on that. I don't think the rest of them are ready, but I mean, Legado Phantasmo was there and Santos Escobar wasn't. So if they're going to continue this growing trend of calling people up and then still using some of the faction in NXT, you can still do that with Tony D'Angelo. So if Tony's ready, cool, call them up. They could show up to be reinforcements whenever they don't need their own TV time or anything like that. You're just your henchman. And then they could have their matches in NXT. I mean, that's what they're doing. So I don't see the issue with doing that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair point. Yeah, it's a good point. But in terms of Tony D as the Heritage Cup champion, I mean, how long do you see him hanging on this? I mean, because when he first won it, I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone here, but I certainly didn't think he was going to hang on to this cup very long. And he's already had it longer than I thought it was going to. And at this point, I'd kind of like to see them keep it with him for a while longer. I think, this format of a match has helped to make him look more serious as a competitor. I thought for sure he was just going to be a quick transitional Heritage Cup champion, but at this point, I don't even know who I want to position to take it from him.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a great Heritage Cup champion, and I think if the story continues to trend the way that it is, I think it's gonna continue to do good things for Tony D'Angelo and the rest of the family.
Now that you actually mentioned that, Tyler, your point about the Heritage Cup being sort of similar to the ring and what it does to you after you lose it has me really interested in what's next for Tony D'Angelo if he does lose it. Do we get a more sinister, vicious Tony D'Angelo? Like a real mob boss looking to whack everybody because he lost something that's prized to him. So I am actually, he could keep it for a little bit, but I'm looking to see what the future is for Tony D'Angelo after he has it. Because if your point is what's going on, that might be the Tony D'Angelo that we're waiting for.
That would be a great direction for them to go. And again, it would just continue to lean into that seriousness, and it would be able to turn him back heel because he is definitely getting babyface reactions and a good reaction from the audience in general. But that is something that would turn him back to that dark side. And yeah, I mean, I'm not talking like driving ice picks into people's heads, although that's what it looked like happened to Chad Gable. But like, it's, that Wyatt 6 attack has changed my mind as to what they are willing to do on air.
Yeah,
guys, before last Monday, I would have said, I don't know how violent they'll really let him get, but yeah, man, that'd be a great direction to go. Like, instead of just getting complacent or just, falling into lunacy, he goes hardline aggression. And that'd be interesting too, because then that would almost establish that everyone, while they have a adverse reaction to losing that cup, their reaction is a little bit different psychologically. That'd be cool. I don't know. I feel like we're like armchair booking and creating this mythos for the Heritage Cup that I don't believe they've ever intended to exist. Maybe I'm wrong, but the pieces are there. I feel like that Sunny in Philadelphia meme right now, just trying to string everything together, but it's solid. I'm here for it.
I had the thought of like a Freaky Friday thing because we see Charlie Dempsey sort of become like Tony Mob Boss D'Angelo. And so now, if he loses the Heritage Cup, I want to see him slowly become Charlie Dempsey.
you take a piece of who held the or took the cup from you. Oh my god.
Oh, how great would that be?
We are getting super deep into like metaphysics now. Like we're gonna have to talk to like some high level physicists,
How much does Neil deGrasse Tyson know about wrestling? Let's get him on the show.
Hey, you know what? He's a New York native. He's probably been to at least a few, old school WWF shows back in the day, right? Like
maybe he'll be at the Garden on SmackDown.
And that is where we will get our answer regarding the physics of the Heritage Cup.
We know he's going to be front row.
Oh man, that's why we should be booking everything. But backstage. We had Trick Williams talking to Javon Evans. And I just want to point out, the men's locker room is so much more dimly lit than the women's. The women's locker room is nice. It's got these wood lockers with name tags. It's colorful. It's clean. The men's locker room is just like black wall, gray lockers. At least they got proper lighting now. I'll give them that. But like, come on, guys. Like that doesn't seem very balanced at all. Like, no comfy chairs or couches or anything. Like, these guys need to sit down too.
I was watching 22 Jump Street on Netflix the other night, and I think like that's the parallel in my head now, that scene where it's like super dark and dreary on Jonah Hill's side and Channing Tatum's side is all bright and colorful. Like that is the men's and women's locker room parallel. Mm-hmm. Tyler, that is a meme. That is yours if you want it.
I'll see what I can.
You wanted to take the time and make it, then that's on you. But that's you get first dibs. But yeah, I think it's yeah. That's all I had.
But the promo itself here. Javon was offering his help to Trick tonight if he should need it, and Trick kind of shut that down, which I thought was interesting. It felt a little abrupt for a babyface to kind of be like, no, I'm good. Like, it seemed a bit much because Javon's, he's not shown any reason to, distrust him or not want him on your side. He's helped Trick multiple times at this point, but Trick seemed a little reluctant to take his help. You guys make anything of that?
I loved it. Loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I love you learning from your past mistakes. Like, okay, like you're cool, kid. I get that. But at the same time, I do have a match against you for my championship. Mm-hmm. Not gonna keep you too close to me for you to do something to cost me what I've worked so hard for, especially after going through all the shit I went through with Carmelo Hayes. Mm-hmm. I love this. I'm not gonna lie. I did like this part where it was like, oh, okay, Trick, you smartening up here. You smartening up. Like, nah, you shouldn't. Not everybody's your friend. It's lonely at the top for a reason, Trick. I love this segment right here. I loved it.
Yeah, like I'm glad they shouted that out as well. Like it definitely shows growth, and it really just drills in that mentality of you can't trust anybody, especially when it's the number one contender. And Trick has saved Javon Evans a few times as well, so it's not like a I owe you one kind of situation. Like they've had each other's back before, so it doesn't feel super against character for Trick to say no, I'm gonna go on my own.
Right on. All right, so next in ring match we had this evening, we had Carmen Petrova taking on NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez in a non-title match. The champ picks up the win here via Pop Rocks at just around the 3-minute, 43-second mark. Pretty quick win for the champ here. Right as the match was kicking off, Lola Vice made her way down to ringside and was on commentary for the match. And as you can see there, post-match, she laid the NXT Women's Champion out. Gentlemen, what did you think of this match and the story implications that occurred right after?
Go ahead, CJ. I don't have much.
Sure. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was exactly what Lola Vice needs to be that solid contender that we thought she was gonna be following the Iron Survivor win. You know, like I'm glad that she's getting the focus and hopefully she wins the title, but I wasn't fuck, I had it. I lost it. Good match. And I think that if they do decide to keep the title on Roxanne Perez, that a loss isn't going to hurt Lola Vice too much. Like, because she has had a solid year so far.
Oh, yeah.
And I think as long as she wins the title by the end of the year, that she's not going to suffer any long-term effects from it, but I think she does. I think she's ready for it now.
Yeah, I agree. My only thing was, Booker T, can you turn down the horn meter just a tad?
Booker gonna wind up in horny jail. Like, he's getting bonked at this point. Like,
down the horn meter just a little bit, man. Like, it sounded like Jerry the King Lawler on commentary tonight.
Look, Charmel watches the show, man. Like, she hears you saying that. You have to go home to her at some point, dog. Like,
it's like their Peacock just stops working for those 2 hours, and Charmel's never sure why.
It was like Sexy Reds opened this door for Booker T to just wild out. Because I haven't heard him like this flagrant with it since, like, before Sexy Red, he was kind of like on a chill thing. You hear it every once in a while, but it was the whole time Lola Vice was on commentary.
Yeah,
she was sitting right. She even noticed it. It was like, yo. So, Book, I'm gonna need you to like play it cool, my guy. Like, just a little bit, man. Just a little bit. Other than that, I did think it was a great match. I did have a question for Tyler though. The Pop Rocks thing, does it still annoy you?
that she's still doing Pop Rocks?
Yes. Does it still annoy you?
Not as much as it did. Because I think that she's got enough other like heel things about her that Pop Rocks isn't really getting like the pop from the crowd that it was getting. Because she did spend a good amount of time not finishing matches with it necessarily. She would still do it, but then usually lock into the crossface after to make it look at least a little more aggressive. So no, I still would have preferred her to transition away from it as a heel, but it's not getting that yay, reaction from the audience. So I feel like it's a little more okay to use it at this point, but I think she did do damage to it. I mean, not like damage in terms of the, I'm trying to think of how to say that. I think she was successful in removing the crowd's excitement from the move. Right. Which, I mean, hey, that's, one of the things I think was Mick Foley said that's, kind of the job of a heel is to deny the audience of things that they want, which would be another reason for her to have not done it. But yeah, at this point, it is what it is. I get what she's doing. I don't think she's going to be a heel for that much longer either.
Right. Okay. Now, that brings up, now that CJ's back, I got another question. CJ, you can go ahead. You can answer this.
All right.
Where are we now? Like, I always gauge where we're at on certain things after a certain time period.
All right.
Where are we at now with Roxanne Perez's heel run opposed to where we were when it first started? How do you guys feel about her heel run now?
Massive improvement from where she was from when she turned. Like, she was still kind of petering on that line of immature, petulant child that we've now seen grow into what I would say is a proper heel, as opposed to, I think if she wants to be taken seriously as an adult, this was the right choice to make. So props to them for getting it right. And yeah, so such an improvement from where she was as a heel the last time you and I were on the same show together.
Tyler?
Yeah, I think her mic work and character work as a heel has improved pretty greatly from where she started. It's been an uphill climb for sure for her. It was not an easy fit for her, which is understandable. That's not going to be simple for everyone as a character. Even certain actors are better suited for certain roles. There are people that don't do comedy well. There are people that don't do drama well. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't at least try to step outside of what your comfort zone is as a performer. And she has stepped out of that. And by God, she has tried very hard, and that is showing. That being said, I think she works better as a face. And I think when her inevitable move to the main roster happens, she's going to be a face for a long time up there. And eventually they probably will try to run this back and, go with the heel route again with her and learn from some of the mistakes she made early on. But yeah, she's a lot better now. She comes across as a villain, but not dastardly. And maybe that's kind of where I fall down on it still, is that I have a hard time buying her as a dastardly heel. And for me, that's actually what a heel is. If, you're a cool heel, you're just a baby face that doesn't follow the rules.
Right.
You're doing the right thing in the long run, but you're not a bad guy. Like, it's kind of like, the NWO, half the audience would cheer the NWO because they were so fucking cool. But like, I don't see her having that truly vile streak in her, and I don't know why I feel that way. Right. I don't know if
I agree. Like, I see it the same way you do. Like, I feel like how they have these tweeners in between babyface and heel. Like, you can't really tell who they are. They just kind of do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's either you cheer them or you boo them. I kind of feel like instead of us expecting her to be that dastardly heel, they've taken it down a notch. Because what I'm seeing from her is like, what I wanted from Roxanne was like, okay, your promo game as a heel isn't the greatest. I feel like they're starting to pull that away from her.
Right.
These past couple of weeks when it comes to Roxanne, I'm getting like one-liners, two-liners. It's more like, okay, I'm going to talk less, but I'm going to punch you in your mouth if you say something disrespectful, which is what I wanted from her. Like, it was like, yo, you don't really need all of this, especially if she's naturally a baby face.
Yeah.
You don't need all the extra stuff. Just have her say a couple of things. There's intimidation when she walks in the room. We saw that in her locker room. So the locker room's like, oh, nah, we're not really going to mess with Roxanne like that. We'll talk about her behind her back.
Right,
when she shows up, we know who the champion is. So I think they've done a good job positioning from her from being that dastardly heel to just being somebody that'll punch you in your mouth at any given point in time. So I'm really liking her heel run so far right now.
Tyler, we had kind of talked yesterday about Braun Breaker's heel run on the main roster. So coming from that sort of perspective, is that a similar situation to Roxanne Perez as a heel, where it's like the fans want to support them and their growth as a performer, so a heel run would be detrimental, whereas working as a face so that the fans can cheer you and openly you can, embrace them when they want to be embraced? Is that I know that's kind of where we're at right now with Braun Breaker. Can that be the same for Roxanne Perez?
Yeah, I mean, if they book her to win matches more straightforward, it would start to lean that way, I think. Because like I said with Braun last night, that's where that babyface reaction from the audience, I think, is coming from, is that he definitively wins matches in a badass, hard-hitting, gridiron kind of way. And that's very much his character, and people like to get behind that. People like to get behind winners. I mean that's the truth of it, and that's why I think with Roxanne's heel run early on, she wasn't really winning matches 100% straightforward. She wasn't outright cheating through outside interference or anything or foreign objects, but she was still doing kind of underhanded heel shit, and then hitting pop rocks and then locking the crossface on. But she was still winning for the most part. Like I said, it wasn't like brass knuckles or, her having a heavy outside the ring to do the damage for her. I don't know. It was an odd start to it. But yeah, I think that the audience wants to cheer her just because she's a natural face. And that could have been part of the issue too, is that, it was difficult for them to get behind booing her, especially when it was on the heels of her returning. You don't want to boo someone that comes back. That's a hard position to put anybody in. They did this. I mean, it's kind of a weird comparison, but they did a similar thing to Seth Rollins years ago. he came back and everybody wanted to cheer him like he was the biggest babyface on earth. It's like, well, let's turn him heel. And it fucking sucked. And it took a long time to get traction. CJ, I think you're muted, brother.
Oh, okay, there we go. I was going to say, it's the exact same kind of thing that's going to happen with Cora Jade whenever she's ready to come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because she was in that, you know, getting position in that heel run and then went down with the injury.
Mm-hmm.
But,
and we know she's still going to be out for quite a while. So, but because she's been out for so long now, I think that's going to be the fans want to cheer her because she's been gone for so long.
Yep. I'm going to say that's maybe a fair fact. I don't know a lot about Richard Pryor beyond his work as a comedian. I didn't know his birthplace. So, Richard Pryor fact.
Well,
but
I was perfectly fine taking his word for it.
Yeah, fair enough. But well, let's hop back into tonight's show here.
Wait. What is that? Darius. Who's Darius?
Like Darius who? Now I need to know. I'll take Dollar Store back, and I love my Lego R2 back here. But
you sparking? Okay, no problem, Tony. I'll check the comments later. Tune in next show. We got jokes. Say less. Say less. Wrong person. Say less. Nah, I know it's all in jest. It's all in fun. Just relax. I'll see you next week. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Ooh, looking forward to that. But I'm gonna steer this back into the NXT program tonight. Noam Dar was on a video call with the rest of the Metaphor. This was a well-shot segment, I want to say first off, too, because they really did frame it very well with the video call. But he did say that the injury that he received at the hands of Ethan Page tore the tendon from the bone, and he's going to be out for quite some time. And then they had Oro Menza do probably the deepest character work he has ever done in a very, very touching, heartfelt promo about his father surviving a car accident at age 6, and you know a lot of the plight that he dealt with as a child. Children, what do you think of this promo and what this has probably done for Oro as a performer and a character?
Shocking. Wasn't expecting that. Like I wasn't even paying attention to the TV. Like you guys know, I'm on my phone, baseball, He starts talking, and I immediately put my phone down and pay straight attention to everything that he's saying, especially after the Bo Dallas thing that we got yesterday, excuse me. That's the way to get us to care. Like just stuff like that about his father almost dying in a car accident and him wanting to get revenge for Noam Dar, which we saw in the main event. Actually, amazing segment to me. These are segments that I love when WWE does. It's about character work. This is what you need to do more in NXT to get people to care. Have an emotional connection to characters so we can give a damn about what they want to do possibly later on in the show or next week, especially when we don't expect something like that. So I thought it was an amazing segment. I really did.
Yeah, it definitely kind of cements Metaphor's face turn, and it gives the fans a good, solid reason to get behind Oro Menza. Like, the only thing that, like, they were already behind Lash Legend, and hopefully Jakara Jackson gets a chance to also get a spotlight somehow if she because we know the number one contendership is set for the women's North American Championship, and Roxanne already has her match set for Heatwave. But if she does get the chance to go after the North American title, and then Lash can go after the NXT Women's Championship, I think that might be a good opportunity for the rest of Metaphor to get a shine too.
Well, and hey, if they would just do what I've been screaming for them to do for a while and bring back the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, that'd be a great spot for Lash and Jakara to be in.
I think so too. But, we can only scream it so many times in a week before your voice starts to die out.
Shawn will hear it. I assume at this point that based off of things we've said on the show coming true, that they've bugged us at some point. I think the Shawn Michaels statue here might have some sort of listening device in it, but I don't know. If there were, they would have brought those belts back by now.
Also very true. But maybe it's a work in progress.
Maybe we'll try. We'll keep trying. But backstage, we came up on quite the scene. The OC had laid out OTM, and then Mia Yim and Jada Parker just brought a level of violence to the backstage area that was pretty wicked. I get by this. I feel like this feud is less about OTM and the OC, and it's far more about Michin and Jada Parker.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I agree with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like this is what I would say is the better opportunity to use the OC for in NXT. If they are gonna stick around and play double hatting NXT and SmackDown, fine. As long as OTM is gonna be the ones getting over at the end of the day. But this didn't need to see their involvement in the gauntlet at the match. Like we talked about the not interference, but the appearances from Apollo Crews and OTM during this match. There's nothing to say that OTM couldn't have run into the OC backstage at some point in the night, which led to this brawl. Like again, like there's other teams it could have been, but I'll stop harping on that now.
Yeah. All right, so our next match with implications of, I guess, faction affiliation. Tavion Heights takes on Damian Kemp, with the stipulation being if Tavion beats Kemp, he will be in the No Quarter Catch crew. Tavion Heights picks up the win here in 2 minutes and 56 seconds, officially becoming a member of the No Quarter Catch crew. And I think this was a great decision. Dude looked like a beast in this match too. Like I don't know how I didn't realize how jacked he was. Like we've seen him on air just a few times since the breakout tournament, but he's a big dude. Like, but yeah, I dug this match. It was just under 3 minutes, but I thought he looked great in this. Thought everybody looked good. But guys, what'd you think of this? That fucking dislocated shoulder spot was,
Did he actually dislocate his shoulder though?
I don't think so. I think it was just. I hope not. Damn.
Because I mean, like I'm pretty sure he would have rolled over it at one point, getting out of the ring, and it's just like I wouldn't want to do that if I had a separated shoulder.
I think they just threw that in there to have that, kind of like we're so tough and rough brawlers kind of thing. But I dug it. It's one of those things though, because like. You've had that stuff happen to you, man. Like what that feels like. It's just it's like I don't know. It's I don't know, like watching any sort of violence. It's like you feel that sometimes, especially if it's something a little more innocuous. It's like seeing somebody get a paper cut or something that's not like really dangerous. It's like oh fuck, that hurts to watch. But
oh yeah.
But yeah. So No Quarter Catch crew has a new number now too.
Did Damon Kemp look more upset that he lost, or more upset that that he was like not as well received?
I think he was upset that they were very, very happy that Tavion was in now. Like they were really showering a lot of praise on Tavion. I think that he looked upset at that. I thought.
Oh, okay.
I think in that picture that John had up a moment ago there at the end of the match where Tavion was kind of in the Tavion, where Damon was in the foreground there. That's kind of how I was reading that. Like they're very happy with him there, and he's kind of like, "Come on, guys!" Like, I mean, they didn't even have to have the match. He agreed to join without this, but Charlie Dempsey's he's a stark raving lunatic at this point, so.
I think that was going to be my point. I think that's why he was upset. Yo, I didn't have to get my ass beat in here. I really didn't. He said yes
My
last
shoulder
week.
dislocated. Like,
He said yes. So first of all, he said yes. I didn't have to have this match. I was upset when you announced this match. I was like, what? Why would you put me in this match when he clearly said he wants to be a part of the crew? I get my ass kicked, and now you're like praising him because he kicked my ass. Well, shit. Where's the win-win for me? Like, you know
But
what I'm
at the
saying?
same time, like I do agree that if everybody's on board, then you shouldn't have to do it. But I like the idea that you have to earn your way in to the no quarter catch group.
yeah.
But the only thing is, if they would have been like, nah, you need to earn your way in, I would have been okay with that. But he made it seem like it was a negotiation going on here. It made it weird.
Yeah, they did.
He
He was like,
nah,
you drive a hard bargain. He
Yeah,
said
like,
that to him. It's like, MFer, I just said yes.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, if he was like, yo, if you win this match, if he would have just said, hey, you win this match, you're in. Cool. No problem. That's not what happened here. So if I was him, I'd be pissed off too. You know, you almost put me on the injury list for what, 6 months, 8 months with a dislocated shoulder. Yeah, I'd be upset too. I get it.
So where do we see this going then?
I hope in the long run it smooths over. I'd like to see the no quarter catch crew, function as a group without membership changes, or at least I'll say membership losses. I like to see them go without that for at least a year. Honestly, I'd let them all get their footing, let them all learn and grow together. Charlie Dempsey's coming along really quickly, and this is his group. I think that's kind of obvious here. This is about him. He's the central figure. This is Wade Barrett in the Nexus kind of a situation almost. But I'd like to see him keep them together for a while, because everybody in like a year's time from now, everybody in this in the no quarter catch crew can be levels above where they are on the card.
I agree with that.
The way Tavion wrestles, do you think what came across my mind when I was watching the matches? Is this who Gable Stevenson was supposed to be?
Potentially.
Oh wow.
Like that's what I thought. I was like, he's like a wrestler, like legit, like you could kind of see him like not alpha. I guess we're about to see a new Alpha Academy thing, but you could kind of see him in like that type of group. So him being in the new quarter catch crew actually makes sense. Gritty, hard wrestling, like things like that.
Wow.
But when I saw him wrestle with the power, the agility, it's like, they gave him the Gable Stevenson package. Is this why they felt like it was okay to let Gable Stevenson go? Allegations, of course, we get all of that.
Right.
But as far as talent-wise, they might have already had Gable Stevenson at home in Tavion. So that's kind of what I got from watching the match.
Yeah, I
get what you thought. Your guys.
No, that tracks.
Yeah, that would make complete sense. I mean, I could even see them having had this story set up for Gable. I mean, is that what you meant too? Like this was designed for him? Yeah, that makes complete sense. Wow, it didn't even occur to me, man. Yeah. Fantastic observation, man. Like that's, I now like not only does it make sense, I'm of the belief without evidence that I think that's what happened here. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But Stevenson just wasn't at the level that he needed to be in order to pull it off, so they just let him go.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, Tavion's gonna be a great fit in the group there, and he's already too. Like his character work was good last week in that backstage promo. So good. I mean, I feel like NXT, the promo and mic skills for a lot of the workers down there, you either have like that innate ability immediately, or that you're going to have a long road ahead of you. And we're going to be sitting here talking about how we're watching you improve incrementally over the course of 6 months to a year. And there's no in between. Like it's not, no one comes in with mediocre like skills where it's like, oh, maybe they'll improve. It's either like, holy shit, get this person an acting coach, or damn, you're good already. I don't know why. Maybe that's just wrestlers in general. That's just kind of how people fall down. Some people need script. Some people can go out there and just say it off the cuff. But
that's true.
But Tavion looked great though, and I think he's got I say this all the time. I feel like a broken record saying this about guys down there, but bright future ahead for sure.
Oh yeah.
But now going from good promo skills off the riff to someone who is trying to improve incrementally week to week, we had Kalani Jordan being interviewed by Kelly Kincaid backstage. Kalani said that she wanted to be a drama-free champion and discussed that tonight she would, find out who would be her opponent at Heatwave. Guys, what did you think of her promo tonight? Do you see improvement happening? She did stumble a little bit on her words again this evening, but hey, that's the nature of live television. This is NXT. This is where people get to grow and learn and improve up on their mistakes. But how did you feel she came across tonight compared to last week or weeks prior?
I don't know. Like it just doesn't grip me the same as if they'd have had a different women's North American champion. Like she's not bad in the ring and she's not bad on the mic, but it feels like she just doesn't have that championship quality yet.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I mean, she said she wanted to be a what type of champion?
Drama-free.
Next question.
At Hickenbottom High.
Come on, man. Like, that's not even realistic for you to be a champion and there be no drama associated with it.
Especially when Jada Parker literally interrupts 5 seconds after she leaves with drama. Kalani is literally drama adjacent when she's talking about not wanting to be in drama.
See,
right, that's true.
The thing is, we got to keep the same energy because we gave what's her face, the pageant girl. I keep forgetting the name.
Ariana Grace.
We gave her shit for saying I don't want to fight. I have to be consistent here with you saying you want to be the champion and you don't want any drama attached to it. I don't know if I don't know if you guys are MMA fans, but Rose Namajunas was a champion. She dropped the championship because she didn't want what comes with being a champion. That's what you have to do. If you don't want the things that come with being a champion, being a champion comes with pressure. Drama is one of them. Please don't let her say that. Don't let her say that again. Just that. Like, I understand. Like, we're going to take some time. It's an inaugural championship. You put it on here to grow. We get it.
Right.
We probably don't believe that she should be the one to do that. But still, if you're going to put her on this path, at least put her in a position where she doesn't say things like that to diminish her title ring. I didn't like that quote at all.
Right. Yep. Fair. So, but yeah, as said, she was as her interview ended, Jada Parker popped on screen angrily, full of fire. Good promo from her, actually. Very short, but like we've said this about Jada before. Jada is OTM at this point. She is the focus, and she should be the focus of OTM. She is very good already. And this is great. I'm looking forward to this match. She challenged Meechin to a street fight next week. I'm looking forward to that. I don't think we're going to have a conclusion in that match, though. I'm sure that it'll break down into something with OTM and the OC getting involved, probably leading to some sort of triple threat at Heatwave in Toronto. You heard it here, folks, first. That's my prediction for next week.
Triple threat?
Jada Parker's on my TV. You can do anything you want. But this was my point when she kind of first showed up. I've been drawn to Jada Parker, not only for her looks, but her attitude. It's just sometimes you just have it. And WWE, as a black guy, you get this wrong a lot of times. I'm just going to keep it a full buck. You have it perfectly right with Jada Parker here. You have that edge, the edgy black girl. You have that. Jada Parker's going to be a star as long as they don't change her. Just let Jada Parker be this. She's been phenomenal. This promo proves my point. All you have to do is run this back. You'll see exactly what I'm saying. Shout out to Jada Parker. You're doing an amazing job.
Now, in terms of just letting her be her, do you have more confidence that we're in a situation with the WWE where that's more possible? Like with the communication between Triple H and Shawn Michaels, They're like, hey, like, you know, this is who this character is. Here's exactly how it works. And he's probably going to have a better understanding of that, you know.
Yeah, because you do have an example, somebody softer that's a face in Bianca Belair. I do believe there was a time in NXT when Bianca Belair was a heel and kind of doing the same thing. The only thing is Jada Parker is more brash. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really, I'm gonna punch you in your mouth. Like, there's no games with Jada Parker. So I do believe that with the direction that WWE was going, Jada Parker definitely fits that mold.
So going into this, is the OC the heel and OTM is face now because of that? I mean, that fan support for Jada Parker right now almost feels like they are turning OTM face to be against the, you know, the outsiders in the OC and Michin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's Jada was already definitely starting to get that that face pop, but yeah, I think that the OC are the heels here, as well they should be. If you're going to, you know, vilify one, you know, set here, that's the way it's going to need to go. But you know, they definitely need to lose if that is where this is going. Like, if they are going to go to some sort of like 6-person tag at Heatwave, which I think would be a perfectly fine way to go about it. Maybe even do it in a, you know, kind of street fight setting. That'd be great. That'd be great. You know, and if that means I get to see, like, you know, Jada Parker knock the crap out of Carl Anderson with a chair or a kendo stick or something, I'm definitely going to be there for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Just the entire OC. I would love to see that.
That'd be great.
AJ Styles comes on down too. He can get it. Why not?
It's the whole crew, everybody. Oh man, but back in the locker room area, we had Brindley Reese trying to pump up Malik and Idris, just, you know, off their loss, and Izzy Dame came in and she was just, you know, mean. Yeah, the bad luck angle kind of continues here with them. They've been drawing this out with not a lot of story. You know, sometimes it's been kind of goofy with, like, you know, so, we got, you know, black cats, or we walked under a ladder, and like we keep losing matches. But where do you think this is going? They kind of implied here that they maybe don't want Brindley around anymore. Like, is that the direction we're heading? Are they going to turn heel by, you know, casting her to the wayside?
I don't know if it's going to result in a heel turn for them, or if it's going to be Brindley being like, okay, you guys don't want me around, well, I'm going to make that your problem, and maybe she'll turn heel on them. But yeah, just the consistent nothing that's come from this bad luck storyline is just like, they seem to have momentum when it was just them being able to showcase their talents in the ring. But then ever since they aligned with Brindley Reese, they definitely haven't been able to do as much. So I hope this splitting, if that is where this goes, is going to be beneficial for them.
Agreed. I don't really have nothing too much to add. I don't like the bad luck angle. Didn't work with Chad. Didn't work with Sami Zayn when he was doing it. It's just not something that seems to work for characters. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not really something fans really get behind. Like, you just having bad luck, because wins matter. So
right.
If you're not winning, like, why do we care? Unless you're a comedic act that's totally different, like a R-Truth or something like that. That's different. That's a different bag. But to just not win and then you complaining that it's bad luck kind of takes away your credibility when I'm watching you. So hopefully whatever they do, just pivot away from that. Like, just get rid of that and then figure out what you want to do from there.
Yeah, no, like, because that's like, no, it's like at the end of the day, y'all are still losing matches. Like, it's not like, oh, I lost because, like, the turnbuckle came untied and I fell, or like my shoelace came undone and I tripped. Like, that would be a bad luck situation making you lose matches. This is just, you guys need to, you know, be better. That's it, guys.
Like, that's the exact same argument about the same exact argument about Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline. Like, wins and losses matter. So this coming out of the mouth of Solo Sikoa, a guy who I can't even remember what his loss streak was since beating John Cena, but like that feel, and it hopefully, like, it feels like they take that more seriously in NXT than they do on the main roster. So, you know, we'll see.
That loss tally is going up because he lost last week.
Qualification. Keeps on ticking. But right before the last match we'll talk about here tonight, we did have the tag champs Axiom and Nathan Fraser backstage, kind of still continuing to patch things up. However, Fraser did apologize that he couldn't start, prepping for their match and watching tape and training right away because he did have a speed championship match tomorrow. But after that, I'm all yours, mate. So they still kind of pushing that there between them, that there's a little bit of friction due to Fraser wanting to kind of step out on his own and pursue some singles championships. But like, guys, I can tell you this. Breaking up your friendship over that friggin' speed title over on Twitter is not worth it, guys. Don't break up over that. Come on.
I literally even just had in my notes, one more reason to hate speed.
Oh, man. All right, but the final match we'll be discussing here this evening on the card was Sol Ruca taking on Ariana Grace. The winner here would be facing Kelani Jordan for the North American title at Heatwave. Sol Ruca picks up the win here in 4 minutes and 14 seconds via a Soul Snatcher. I think that was obviously the predictable winner here. I didn't think they were going to have Ariana Grace in a PLE against Kelani Jordan for a title. But guys, what do you think of the match here? CJ, I assume that you believe the right person won here.
I do believe the right person won, but the possibility did pop into my head that they might put Ariana Grace in this match because she's Canadian. So because this match is happening in Toronto, I was like, oh, they might actually do something with this.
Wait, Canadian? Wait, you just destroyed kayfabe for me, sir. Her father is from Milan, Italy. I watched him win the Intercontinental Championship he came from behind the guard. He was a fan, sir. A fan. You're telling me that he's Canadian?
That is a beautiful Italian woman. I don't know what this man's talking about.
You're telling me Santino Marella is Ariana Grace's dad? What do you mean I broke kayfabe? Ariana Grace, I'm pretty sure, was billed from Toronto to begin with.
Oh no, this is all just falling apart now. This house of cards that they've built in developmental, especially now that TNA is involved with them. This is rife with potential danger. Oh goodness, but a good match though. Good match. I will say of Ariana Grace. Well, I don't think that she is near even like that. One down from the top of the card. She's improving for sure, and her character work is amazing. It's a fun character. I like it. It's absolutely over the top, but she pulls it off very well. I don't know what she's like actually. I don't think I've ever really seen any of her social media presence or anything, but if she's not like this, I'm shocked.
Yeah, I believe it. And I think part of that is just being able to learn from her dad. He had such a good handle on the Santino character and knew how to get the reactions he wanted. So yeah, to be able to learn from such a great character wrestler is really serving her well, plus getting the level of training that they get at the Performance Center.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Where are we at on the Sol Ruca heel turn?
Heel turn? You think so?
She surfboarded a girl today.
Yeah, because she's a surfer.
I don't know. I think the way that she kind of was glanced at Kelani there at the end. Malik, we talked about it last week with her kind of dressed in black, the look that she gave Kalani last week after she was like, "You go, girl." I think there's some wheels on that. I think it's possible that if she loses at Heatwave, we see kind of that R-Truth John Morrison sort of turn where she just goes ballistic and just, beats her pillar to post after the match. I could see that happen for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's if she does lose, I still don't think she's gonna turn. I see Sol Ruka only works right now as the face. I think she has to, like, her character doesn't work as well as a heel. She has to do so much different. The surfing on somebody, like, that's just a fun face moment. And Ariana sells it so well, just absolutely enraged in her facial expressions. So I don't see them turning her at all. Like, this is all for the North American Championship. If anybody does turn in this situation, I would say it would be Kalani Jordan. If she loses the title and doesn't take it very well, then she might attack the new champion.
I was just going to ask that because they could swerve us and turn Kalani, because that could be the reason why all of this is falling flat. It's because this is not who she's going to be going forward. I could definitely see that.
True.
But it's just the all black thing. It bothers me. It really bothers me every time I see a face wear all black. They usually turn like 80% of the time.
Especially one that does such a colorful dresser, typically, because she always is very bright and sunny. And I mean, again, that's kind of the surfer thing.
That's usually the first telltale sign for me. It's like, oh, okay, they're about to start wilding out. Like, I've seen it with Drew. I've seen it with Kevin Owens. I've seen it pretty much. Well, Kevin Owens always wears black, but I've seen it with so many people that as soon as I see you dressed in all black, it has to be a weird situation too, because it wasn't just like, yo, she just showed up in all black and it was all good. No, it was the way when she was walking down and she saw all the way the other stars were looking at her. It kind of looked like a little jealousy from her too. It wasn't support. It wasn't a supportive look that she gave her. It was kind of like a jealousy look, like, oh, okay. So I don't know. I hear you, CJ. It is kind of tough for me to see a Sol Ruka who she is as a heel, but I think there's a possibility that can change. I'm just saying, my heel radar is going off.
They're gonna turn her because they want to add an extra layer to the Sunshine Surfer Girl thing before they bring her up. It's the same reason they turned Roxy. Roxy had a Sunshine, or a Pop Rocks teeny popper gimmick, and you had to give it another layer before you sent her up, or at least see if it's possible. This Sol Ruka thing, that's someone who's still very young, not her. Sol Ruka, kind of, this thing she has going in NXT, the gimmick wise, development wise, it's kind of reached a little ceiling. I mean, what else do you do with it? She surfs, it's cool, it's Sunshine, she does a flip. That's nice, but this fucking image thing is wonky tonight. What the fuck was I saying? Oh, Sol Ruka, bad girl. It's the best way to give her some character development. That's my point.
And that's a fair point too. But I don't know. I think I don't think she's hit her ceiling yet as a face. I think because they've added the North American title, I think that, she has the opportunity to still be able to do more now that there's more opportunity.
Quick question: how's her mic work? Because I haven't seen a lot. Like, I've seen her in segments here and there. She doesn't really say much. So
no,
how is her mic work? If y'all guys can enlighten me on that.
I'm kind of with you, but like, she doesn't say much.
She
like, I don't know that
anything.
She hasn't really had the opportunity to really do that.
So that's my point. I think with the heel thing. Like, she doesn't talk now. So it wouldn't be too much of a character change other than she's not wearing bright colors and she's not smiling. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it doesn't seem like it's too big of a switch to try a Soul Luca heel turn. And that Soul Snatcher can be used as a face or a heel. That shit comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So give her a little
But-
edge. Shit, the heel's right. The heel work is right there.
But if she's not selling it on the mic, then, you know, like if she's not good enough on the mic to sell it as a heel without help, then, you know, that's a bridge to cross when you get there. But I think, yeah, if she is just not super strong on the mic and just kind of vibing as a face, then, you know, we'll have to see if that is North American title material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, as we always say, we'll see what unfolds as the future approaches. But gentlemen, here I think we should, you know, unless we have anything else we want to touch on the show tonight, are we good to transition into our jobber and megastars of the night?
Sure.
Very good. All right, guys, before we do hop into that, I want to give a shout out to one of our big sponsors out there, the good folks over at monk.com. Guys, sometimes jobbers can stink up the joint. If the joint gets stunk up too much, head over to monk.com, DSR10. Get yourself 10% off some amazing aromatherapy products. Make your place smell fantastic. And, but gentlemen, yes, so that's going to bring us into our jobber of the night. Guys, who would like to take point on the jobber of the night, Steve?
Well, you go ahead. I'm still thinking.
I'm still thinking too. Go ahead.
Oh shit.
Okay, well, if you're
Tyler,
both
you
still
go
thinking
ahead.
that, all right then. Hell, it is Idris and Blade for me tonight. I can't get behind what they're doing. I tried. I dug it. I'm gonna be honest. Like the first couple weeks, I'm like, okay, cool. They're doing a little bit of a losing streak with them. They'll turn it around. But it really has just become of this whole like we're having a string of bad luck. We can't break our bad luck. No, you can't win matches. You're not winning matches. There's no luck involved. Win the sport. Put more points on the board. That's it. That's what you got to do. Like. I don't like the angle. It's not making me care about them. It's not making me like them or making me dislike them. It's just making me kind of just look, you know, not even in the direction. It's not good, guys. I don't like it. Find something better for them. You're good wrestlers. They're good. They've got a good base of skill there that they can, you know, grow on. But not like this. It's not going to happen this way. Sorry, Idris, Blade. And Brindley. I'm going to throw Brindley in there too. Like the toxically positive character, unless you're going to actually turn her heel with this, stop it. None of this is good. None of this is good. It's
Fuck. Sorry, I just noticed Tatum Paxley
Jesus
behind the glass.
holy shit.
Oh god.
I didn't notice
I was gonna ask you guys, why do all of Brinley Reese's segments with these guys whose names I keep on forgetting, they all look like the beginning of a porn scene. It's insane. I don't understand, and I've been trying to fight it every week. I don't want to say it. I'm like, I don't want to say it, but it's like the fourth time in a row now where I'm like, this is ridiculous. Now, are we? What is going on here? Why is that? What is the nature of her relationship with these gentlemen in the first place? Why do they hang out together so much?
I think they just kind of decided on TV one day that they were gonna work together, and
Do they
then they've just
match
been annoying
gear?
each other ever since.
have a name?
No
They-
and no.
John
This is a- yeah.
because that's exactly how pornos start.
It's a porn. I'm trying to find a way out.
Porn.
That's exactly the way pornos start. Yeah, we just link up and then decide to work together. Yeah.
And we just hang out. We just hanging out.
People can have friends from work. What's the problem here?
But yeah, that's my jobber of the night in a non-pornographic sense. Gentlemen, who do you have as your jobbers of the night?
Can my jobbers of the night be people that weren't on the show?
Sure.
Lexus King and Josh Briggs. were featured absolutely 0% on the show. They didn't factor into anything at all. You know what? It kills me, but I have to also this is actually fucking hurting me. I have to give the jobber of the night to, oh my god, I'm even blanking on his name. Eddie Thorpe.
Oh shit.
No Eddie Thorpe tonight either. Not even a little bit of a mention. Like, we know Wendy Chu is going to be on the show next week. They've already got that match set. But nothing on Eddie Thorpe. Nothing on guys that should have been a highlight of the show. So, you know, unfortunately, they're my jobbers of the night. Just not showing up to work, I guess.
My jobber of the night is going to be a tandem. First, I want to say my jobber of the night is Javon Evans. The reason why my jobber of the night is Javon Evans is because, bro, you really did nothing to help yourself this week. And my second jobber of the night is Shawn Michaels, because Javon Evans is my jobber of the night. You had this man win a battle royal and then work a main event last week. He wasn't involved in the opening segment when they were arguing. He wasn't involved in the final, in the main event match, even though Trick Williams said that he wanted to be by himself. Whatever, that's cool. This was building towards a fatal 4-way regardless. He should have been involved in something other than other than him being just super supportive of Trick Williams, because it's your spot they're fighting over, my God. Yeah. So they definitely should have did something a little bit different for him, because last week you made me care. It seemed like last week they were giving you the jetpack that I expected them to give you, and then this week it was just, yeah, Trick, I got your back, even though I'm facing you next week. And then nothing else. You had Ethan Page overshadowing you. You have Shawn Spears overshadowing you. You even have somebody from Metaphor now in the main event. He has nothing to do with the Fatal 4-Way. So unfortunately, my jobber tonight is Javon Evans and Shawn Michaels for not putting him in a position to progress the story further this week after he was a main event showcase last week. You should have continued that.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah. Very fair point. But moving from the jobbers, guys, we're going to hop into our mega stars of the night, bringing a little positivity back in here from that. Guys, I'm going to go with Tony D'Angelo as my mega star of the night, because I just thought he looked like $1 million out there. He is improving week to week. And the fact that, in discussion tonight, we've kind of come to the conclusion that he himself, not so much the group as a whole, but he himself, I think, is main roster ready. He could be on the main roster right now if they had a good spot in place for him. He's looking great. His mic work is great. This more serious character in in-ring work he's done lately has made me a true believer in him as a performer. So my megastar of the night, the Don of NXT, Tony D'Angelo.
That's a solid choice for sure. My megastar of the night, I think, is going to be Ethan Page. I think he definitely proved how good he is as like a total package sort of guy. So being able to hold his own in the ring, on the mic, I think he is setting himself up for success heading into Heatwave. So I'm going to give him my megastar on it.
Yeah. That was my biggest star tonight too. Ethan Page.
Oh, there we go.
They showcased him tonight. It was just it. He was amazing on a mic. He was amazing last week in the ring. He did what I wanted Trick to do last week, was actually showcase himself on commentary and make himself look like a bigger star. To me, after the show, it was obvious to me that if they wanted to do a belt switch, they should put it on Ethan Page. In my opinion, he's the one that stood out. He's the one that's standing out in this whole feud, this fatal four-way that we have. So that's the reason why he's my mega star tonight. Shout out to Ethan Page, who did an amazing job this week showcasing himself.
When they switch networks in October, who do you think is going to be the champ?
I don't know yet because a lot can happen in between now and October.
Well, let's say it was happening to like the Tuesday after.
There's
Heatwave.
only one answer.
Oh, of course. I don't disagree. But as far as between like Ethan Page and Trick Williams, if they were the first champion for the CW, who would be the better representative for the champion?
I will go with Ethan Page. I'm not really sold on the Trick Williams title reign so far. Like I'm just not. I don't want to say he's regressing, but he's not doing a great job building himself. Like the commentary thing last week, he said nothing.
Yeah.
You're the champ. You're in commentary. You said nothing. Good match, but his in-ring work wasn't great this week either. His promos, they're okay. They're one-liners. But the only time I felt emotionally connected to Trick Williams is when he was talking to Mello that one time, that great promo that he had with that. And here's the thing with me when it comes to champions. Can I see you sitting on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, or can I see you really growing the brand of WWE as a champion? I don't think Trick's there yet. But with the way Ethan Page talks, I can see him doing that. So if it was me and it was my choice, it would be Ethan Page carrying me into the era of CW.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Those are all valid points. Yeah, with Trick's title reign so far, I was myself wondering how much of the steam he had was Mello, and it's looking like a lot of it might have been Mello. Because like you talk about, like Mello is one of those guys. Mello's a guy I can look at and be like, you can attract new people into this business. People can see me like, man, I got to tune in next week to see what that guy's going to do. Not in like a negative way, like his first couple weeks up there on SmackDown, where it's like, I'm going to tune in next week to see if he doesn't like fall off the top rope, because that was a rough start for him up there. But he's got his ground now. He's got his footing up there, and he's looking better every week. And he's a dude that people would want to see. Trick ain't there yet. He definitely ain't there on the mic yet. Like, and they're starting to limit his mic time. It's not, they're not putting him out there. You know, it was those first couple weeks as champ, he was out there doing those, 8 to 12 minute promos, and they stopped that. He's not going over 4 minutes now.
If there's any reason why Ethan Page should win the title, even though I think it always feels funny when someone that old, like, not that he's very old, but he's been wrestling for like 20 fucking years. It's always weird when someone who's been wrestling for that long has an NXT belt. But he should win the title because he should be the person to be in the ring when Oba fucking Femi wins the damn thing. He just should not be in there with Trick Williams. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the best showing for good old Oba Femi. But I think we should fast track this thing. I think you have a star. I don't think we need to. It's NXT. It's not like we need to wait fucking 3 years for Oba Femi to become ready to be NXT champ. Put the fucking belt on Oba Femi already, man. That's your star. The NXT is supposed to be the show with young stars and studs, and like you said, people that can sit in fucking Jimmy Fallon. Put this big bastard on Jimmy Fallon. Come on, look at him.
Did they make a bigger version of that belt? Like, did they Andre-fy the North American title?
They put fucking Velcro straps on it now. It's disgusting. But
yeah.
No, but I mean, like, it was already like a wide belt to begin with, but that looks wider.
It could be a larger
It actually
belt.
does. It does. Yeah, John, I'm with you. By the way, man, I hate the Velcro. Like I mentioned it last night on the Raw show, but like I saw it when Liv was like putting like held her belt up and then put it around her waist, and I've heard it a couple times too when guys.
Yeah, there's the famous Cody. Cody stripping the title. Disgusting.
Would magnets work?
No.
Like if you put magnets inside the leather and like strong enough to hold, maybe.
You know, in my day, we just had fucking snaps that went together and we liked it, damn it.
But that's not true. That's actually not true. Randy Savage had Velcro.
No, don't do this to
He
me.
did. He did. Randy Savage had Velcro on his Winged Eagle World Championship. And they had to adjust the fucking studs. They had to like snip off pieces of it. There's a whole thing. Yeah, I love belts. Don't get me started.
I had no idea. I could still hear, by the way, what they have. Like, I that's wild to me. God, that's like on that list of like, you know, finding out like Santa ain't real. That is a rough one. That's Mach. Why? Why? Oh God. But gentlemen, that is NXT in a nutshell. Before we do our kind of closing housekeeping advertisements and such, gentlemen, where can we find you next? Where will we see you again? Malik, man, when will we see you again? Where can the people watching right now see you next?
Dirt Sheet Radio. I'm always here. I live here.
That's right.
I live here. I'm on Dirt Sheet Radio all the time. It's up in the air about Friday, but I'm gonna try to make it for Friday night. SmackDown Sunday. 3T is going to be back whenever the Wyatt Six decides to give us Danny back. See Danny or heard from Danny in days.
Like Axiom and Nathan Fraser.
Other than that,
I thought he just posted a picture on Facebook today of him meeting himself in a parking lot, I think.
Oh, yeah? Oh, so
yeah.
He's just ignoring me.
TNT this Sunday is going to be real interesting now that I've stirred the pot a little bit.
You can catch me on Facebook and Instagram, Matthew Malik Wilson. Also, MLBBro.com, where we cover all Black baseball players. I do have 2 articles coming out this weekend. Please go check them out and support.
CJ Carter at CJ Carter 22 on Twitter. I'm here every Tuesday talking NXT, every Friday talking SmackDown. Gonna try and make it this Friday as well. No guarantee right now, but I should be able to make it. And starting this Sunday, CJ and Tyler's NXT Level Up adventure. Looking forward to that. And then Monday night on Raw as well.
Right on. And I am Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster. You can find me over on Facebook at the Pro Wrestling Hipster, and of course here with Dirt Sheet Radio multiple times a week. Over there on Facebook, it's a lot of memes. So if you enjoy that sort of thing and a little bit of comedy and just a touch of news, that's what you're going to see from me over there. But obviously, like CJ said, here Monday nights breaking down Raw. Obviously here Tuesday nights breaking down NXT with CJ and Malik every week. It is my favorite 2 hours of professional wrestling every single week. And then PLE's pay-per-views when I'm able to make it in here. But gentlemen, Dirt Sheet Radio, we're not just here Mondays and Tuesdays. We're here Mondays for Raw, obviously. We're here Tuesdays for NXT. You're watching it right now. But remember, we're also here Wednesday nights after Dynamite. We're here Thursday nights after TNA Impact. Friday nights after SmackDown, as you also know. And then, of course, we've got the Dirt Sheet Radio flagship, which comes to you early mornings on Thursday morning every week, as it links to the 3NT pod. Oh, good. The CJ and Tyler's Our Level Up adventure begins this weekend. Looking forward to that. And as links to the 3NT podcast Sundays every week. Guys, wrestling never stops, and neither do we here at the Dirt Sheet Radio. But folks, want to thank everybody that tunes in live and watches on demand. We'll see you next time, guys.